and then slant back as far as you can see from the front mirror, and you're going to do that on the left and right side of the head. Make sure both of these guidelines are even when you stare straight into the mirror before moving on to the back. And as for the back, you're just going to want to turn around and stare at the little mirror so that you have a bigger reflection in back of you. And you're just going to want to connect both your guidelines so they meet evenly in the back. This guideline here is probably the most important guideline of them all, since the rest of your guidelines are going to run parallel according to how even and straight this one is set. So just take your time and make sure you get it down right. So once you're done with this guideline, make sure you take a good look at it and it's as even as possible. And then you're going to come in with the open lever, that's a half, and you're going to set down your second guideline, coming up about a finger in length up high. And we're going to just run that guideline all around the head, running parallel to your first guideline. It's always going to be a little tricky as you reach the back opposite side of your dominant side, since you got to kind of stretch towards it. But with practice and maybe a little bit of stretches before you start, it'll help you get better with time. And once you're done here, next we're going to move on to our third guideline by setting down the one guard and keeping the lever open. And we're also going to come up about another finger in length all around the head. Try and not use so much pressure when you're laying down these guidelines. That way they're not that hard to take out when it comes time to blending them out. And once that is set, we're going to move on to our number 2 guard, and the same thing, we're going to keep the lever open, except this time we're going to start kind of sculpting the side length of the hair onto the top, kind of using some C-scoop motions so that you're not blending too much into the top length of the hair. And next we're going to throw on the number 3 guard, still keeping the lever open, which is a 3.5, and we're going to repeat the exact same steps that we did with the number 2 guard. And we're only going to come up about a 1/2 inch higher than we did from the 2.5. And the same thing, guys, we're just kind of sculpting upwards. As you reach the curvature of your head, you don't want to kind of dig the clipper into the top head, because that will take off too much length. We're kind of just, think of your head as kind of like a square shape, and you're kind of moving the clipper straight up to the roof.
I see a future where there's no pollution.
You got the music in you, don't let go. You got the music in you. One dance left, this world is gonna pull through. Don't give up, you got a reason to live. We only get what we give.
And now finally with the 4.5, we're going to do the same thing, except this one's going to be the last guard. So you're going to try to really connect the side length to the top length of the hair. So if you got to kind of lift the clipper up a little bit to really sculpt the side length to the top, then do so. When you're using higher guards, it kind of starts to get harder for your clipper to cut everything nice and even when you're moving fast. Before, and here's the after. So I hope y'all guys enjoyed this video and were able to take something home from it. And let me know down in the comments.